Hello, 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 hello. This is Anita Charlo, your dating and relationship coach and marriage coach too. I am here tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. First of all, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to come into the group and to share this amazing information with you ladies. Thank you so much for being who you are, for being on this journey together with me, with Safira, with all of the other wonderful ladies in the group. And I am here tonight to talk about how to get clarity on the spirit or the soul that is perfectly imperfect for you. Okay? All right, so here's the thing. We tend to believe, because of whatever reason, for whatever reason, our past, society, the games that we played when we were little, we tend to believe that we're looking for a specific kind of person. Okay, so I'm going to speak directly to the women here because the women are my target market and are my thing, and I know what we like and I know what we do and I know us best. Although I am very, very familiar with men, their habits, and their energy as well. So we're given this image of what our lives should be like, right? We start playing house very young. We have dolls and we pretend that our dolls are getting married. We're bombarded with wedding magazines and pictures of brides. We are told, that we should have a certain be attracted to a certain type of man. Depends on your background, whether he should be driving a certain type of car, or he should have a certain type of education, or he should come from a certain type of family. And we get all of this stuff fed into our heads, into our hearts, into our spirits. Hey, Petey. We get all this stuff fed into our hearts, into our heads, into our spirits, and we lose sight of if we've ever learned how to connect with our own truth. So the key to identifying or getting clarity on the spirit or the soul of the person that is perfectly imperfect for you is, first, you must know how to do that for yourself. You must be clear on who you are and how amazing you are and what you really like. Not what you're told that you should like, not what you're told that your mother says you should have, or your father says you should have, or your friends. No, it doesn't matter if your high school classmates, your college classmates are all getting married around you. Hi, Kimberly. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, right? You should not be concerned about what everybody else tells you that you need, and you should learn how to identify what it is you need so that you can get clear on the person that is right for you. So we're going to do that tonight. Typically, I do like a lecture style, but I'm going to give you a few moments to grab a pen and some paper, a notebook, a crayon, a construction paper, eyebrow pencil, lipstick. I don't care what it is, but I want you to grab something and something to write on. So I'll give you a few moments. And I'm going to take a sip here. Okay, that's not as tasty as what I have here in this glass, so I will be sipping on both of those. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you have your paper and your pen here. So what I want you to do with your paper and your pen, I tend to, and maybe I'll give you, hey Brittany, after this class, I will give you the link to download the worksheet. So right now I need you to work on your own paper, and this is what I want you to do. In order to get clear on what it is you want, there are 3 lists that you have to create, okay? So the first list is the list of things that you must have in your relationship in order to, hey Jerry, there are 3 lists that you must have in order to get clear on the person that is perfectly imperfect for you. The first list is the things that you must have. Okay, so ladies, I want you to write must have at the top of a page, fabric, whatever it is, the wall, whatever it is you're writing on. I want you to write must haves. Okay, and then on the next piece of paper or the next area that you have free to write on, I want you to write can compromise on. So the things that you can compromise on. Okay, so the first list is the must-have list. The second list is the things you can compromise on. And then the third list are the hell no's. Okay, the hell no's. I mean the HELLNAWS, because when someone comes across your path that is bringing that type of energy, you're like, if you're a grown ass woman like me, you're like, hell no, that is not going to work for me. So I need you to write those 3 titles across the top of whatever it is you're using to write on. Okay. And I want you to, if you're thinking about this for a minute, the things that you must have, put in the comment section some of the things that you must have for me. So we're going to be a little interactive here tonight, and I'm going to show you, you'll understand why in a minute. But enter or type in 1 or 2 things that, hey Safira, type 1 or 2 things that you feel like you must have in your relationships. Okay, and I don't know if we're delayed or I can throw out some things, okay, while you guys try to figure that out. No, I'm putting you on the spot. You probably were not planning to do any work, but that's how I do, right? This is when I'm in coaching, teaching mode. In order for you to be able to maintain, retain what it is we're talking about, we have to get you busy. We have to get you in the flow of things. So getting in the flow, putting pen to paper helps you to really think about it and pull together, bring to the forefront your true feelings. Okay, if you're typing it out, I tell my clients, don't type it out, because typing it out uses a different part of the brain. Pen to paper helps you connect with your spirit. So that's where you want this to come from. Okay, so let's see the things that you must have. We have, Safira says, sensual connectivity. Absolutely, yes, sensual connectivity. That's good, and we're gonna hold on to that, because we're going to come back to that. Okay, so let's say, let me see, I see another comment that has been entered here. Must have honesty and openness. Okay, honesty and openness. Those are good. Those are good. All right, do we have any more for the must-have list? We're going to move on and start thinking about it, because I'm going to ask, I'd like to have at least 2 people respond for each list. And if the same person wants to respond, that's fine. So what about the things you can compromise on? What are some of the things that you feel like you can compromise on? And don't, if you think that, oh, I can't write that down because, people are going to think I'm shallow. Nope, there's a difference between being shallow and having a preference. And I'll explain that to you as well. Kimberly says, must have mutual respect and love. Oh, those are good ones. I love those. I love those. Okay, so what about the, well, let's start with the must-haves. Okay, so Safira says sensual connectivity. One of the ways in which we get ourselves, we don't get what we want, is because we're not clear on what that looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. And the goal with my clients is for me to teach my clients how to identify a person and whether or not they exhibit these traits that they're looking for, without having to waste time spending 4 and 5 and 9 hours on the phone on the first date. Total waste of time. Don't ever do that. Or spending 2, 3, 4 months or years with a person, but never really understanding or knowing whether or not that person is going to be the perfectly imperfect person for you. So we get into situations because we think we want one thing, and yet what we really mean, or what we really want, is something else. I'll give you an example. Brittany, so you use the word honesty, must have honesty and openness. Okay, so what do you mean by honesty and openness? If you can define that for me in the content section, that would be great. I'll keep going. Okay, if you can compromise, if you can define must have honesty and openness for me, that would be great, because I'm doing this to show, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but we are here to learn. And the best way for you to learn how to identify the spirit of another person is to really get clear on what work you need to do in order to do that. And this work is not necessarily work on them, but it is work on you. And by getting really clear on what you need and what you want and what that looks like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like, all of that stuff. Once you get clear on that, then it's easy for you to recognize it in someone else, okay? And I'm not talking about sitting down with your 3 lists, going down the checklist at a coffee shop or out to dinner. You are going to be a lot more quietly confident than that. This list allows you to increase your dating and relationship confidence, because you don't need to talk about it. You don't need to ask these questions. You don't need to plead with people. You're able to read their energy. And you guys know all about energy. I'm with my tribe here. You know about energy, but in order for you to be able to read that energy, you have to know how to tap into it. And so that's what I'm teaching you now. So Brittany, if you are able to define must-have honesty and openness, that would be awesome for me. I do have an example for honesty, because that's one that comes up often. When I do workshops, I have, like, the big post-it pages. I have those on the wall, and I go up there and I write, must-haves, can compromise on, and hell no's. And I ask the attendees to just yell it out, whatever chart we're working on. And then I go back and ask them to define it. This is the fun part, but this is also the tricky part, okay? So I'm going to, let's see if we have it here. There we go. Okay. Brittany says, being honest to me is just saying how you feel inside and how you're feeling, even if it seems like it's a lot. And openness, be able to try new things and talk about different things, and open to new people as well. Okay, that is great. That is great. So here is what I would, if you were a one-on-one client, I would have you even go deeper into this, and I'm gonna do so with your definition here. So being honest to me is just saying how you feel inside and how you're feeling, even if it seems like a lot. Okay, so let's stop there. Now, everybody is different, right? So your idea of honesty may be different from someone else's idea of honesty. Your idea of honesty may be this, and someone else's idea of honesty may mean, I showed you my water bottle, but truth be told, I have a wine glass here, right? That could be my honesty. But what you want to do is you want to take that definition and you want to break it down even more. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you, is this something that you want? Based on what you just said in your definition, would you be happy if that individual were able to openly articulate their feelings? Does this sound like someone that is being honest for you or to you, someone that can openly articulate their feelings? Because that's what I'm getting that's what's coming through for me from your first definition of being honest. Okay, let's see. Absolutely. Okay, good. Now, so when you're creating your list, and everybody, this is for everybody. When you're creating your list, when you write down your ideas, when you write down the words that define what you want, you have to dig deeper. And while being honest to me is just saying how you feel inside and how you're feeling, even if it seems like a lot, is a great start, it may not be something that you can identify up front when you're talking to someone. So you would definitely be able to tell if someone was able to openly articulate their feelings, right? First of all, they have to be in touch with their feelings, and then they have to be able to openly articulate those feelings. So you want to take it even further, the definition even further. Yeah. Just like setting intentions. Absolutely, you have to be specific, because hang on guys, menopause here, so I'm having a hot flash. You have to think about it. If you were to go to a restaurant and you had steak and potatoes on your mind all day long, oh my goodness, you knew exactly how you wanted your steak, you could taste it, you can envision it, you were already full before you got there, because in your mind you had already eaten this steak. Well, you get to the restaurant and the waiter says, the waiter says, what can I bring you? And you say, I'll have steak and potatoes. That's what you wanted. You said steak and potatoes. He says, oh, steak and potatoes? He's like, yeah, sure, steak and potatoes. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I want steak and potatoes. So he comes back and he has a steak. It's medium rare. It is, and it has French fries. And you look at the plate and you're like, that's not what I wanted. He's like, well, that's what you asked for. No, I asked for steak and potatoes. You did. You asked for steak and potatoes, and I brought you steak and potatoes. So if you think about your words and your descriptions of what you want to attract into your life, you have to be specific. Would you pay for that half raw steak and the French fries? Absolutely not, because that's not what you wanted. So knowing this, when you go back, and when the waiter comes back and he says, what is it that you want? Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. And then you say, I want a steak. I want it medium well, a little burnt or a little crispy or burnt or charred. There we go. A little charred around the edges. And then I like a baked potato, please, with butter and sour cream and chives and cheese and bacon. And you are being more specific. So when your waiter goes back to the kitchen, your waiter is going to come out from the kitchen with what you really want. That is what you want because you were specific. It is the same within your business. It is the same within your love life. It is the same within your friendships. You have to be specific. So when we say honest, that is a very broad and general term. We don't want to get somebody, we don't want to attract somebody into our space who's going to be very broad and general and just out there, right? We want to get specific. So you want someone who is willing and able, well, let's turn it around, is able and then willing to openly articulate their feelings, no matter what they may be. Okay? So the next one, you're on fire. Hey, Anne-Marie. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the second half. And while I'm doing this, guys, think about it. We're going to the next list, okay? We said must-haves. We're going to the can't compromise on. So if someone can put some words out there to me, and I think I saw some, so I'm going to go back. But let me finish Brittany's second portion of her comment. Let's see. Openness, be able to try new things and talk about different things and open to new people. Okay, so Brittany, once again, try to take this a little deeper, okay, because we can go there. If you want me to do it for you, because I can see the energy of what you want is jumping out at me. But let's see if you can identify it for yourself. And while you let me check the comments in case you already did that. Okay. Yes. Every order is a custom order. Good. That means she's going to get exactly what she wants. Go ahead, Safira. I'm with you, girl. Okay. So, Brittany, let me know if you just want me to take this one. But the next one was, I'll remind you so you don't have to scroll up. It says, openness, be able to try new things, able to talk about different things, and open to new people. Okay, so that's actually 3 different things. Okay. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, I'll take it for you, Brittany. Okay, here we go. So openness, be able to try new things. Okay, so what you want, this is a good start, but this is why even my clients, when they first come in, when first sign on, I tell them, I'm like, okay, we're going to work first on the internal groundwork, because in order to build that foundation for what you have to know what you want, and then you build on top of that. So once you get clear on what you want, the spirit, the soul of the person that is perfectly imperfect for you, then once you start to put that energy out in the universe, then you start to get those types of people back. It doesn't mean that the first person that comes back to you is going to be the person. It just means that people that start to come into your space will be people that are vibrating at the vibration that you want them to have, or they're very close to it. The clearer you get, the better possibilities are going to come your way. So the clearer you get on the energy, the spirit of the person that is perfectly imperfect for you, the clearer you get on being able to identify that, you're going to, sometimes you may even recognize that this person has already been in your space, but because you thought you were looking for one thing, when you were really looking for something else, they already exhibited that behavior. Or you may start to look at different guys that you would not have thought to look at before, because now you're clear, okay, if this is the quality of love that I want, then this guy, that kind of guy that I've been attracted to, I'm never going to get that from him. So let me start putting out the right energy. Okay. 1 second. Side question when you get to it. Yeah, okay, Brittany wants me to take it. Got it. Yeah. Okay, Gerald, I'm coming to your question. Gerald is asking, side question when I get to it. He always found it easy to lay out what he doesn't want, rather than what he does want. That was never as clear as what I didn't want. Do I ever work backwards? I used to, until I realized that it still wasn't getting me what I wanted, exactly what I wanted. There are ways to work backwards, but then you also have to, in addition to these lists, you have to be doing other things to help bring that clarity to the forefront. Or you have to have people in your space that are nudging and pushing you in a certain direction, right? So you may have a coach, or you may have a friend, or you may have, someone who just happens to know what it is you like and what it is you need, even though you may not be clear yourself. Okay, so Brittany, back to you. Be able to try new things. You want someone, so on your list, where right next to openness, be able to try new things, I want you to write adventurous. Okay, you want this person to be adventurous. That means they're willing to try new things, right? So open to trying new things is like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'll try this coffee shop instead of that coffee shop. That's the kind of energy that's associated with that. But if you say adventurous, that means, oh my goodness, if we want to jump off a cliff, they're adventurous. They're going to do it. If we want to jump off, why am I doing all this jumping? If we want to try a new position, right? They're adventurous, so they're willing to try that. So let's use that word, because that word, that's a stronger word, and that word is going to raise the vibration of that energy that we want to put out there in order to get back. Okay? The next one is talk about different things. You want a person who is well-rounded, who is well-versed, who is well-read, right? I don't watch the news per se. I get alerts on my phone when there's really something going on, financially, but I don't watch the news. So I'm probably not the person that, would be able to talk about world news and things like that. But whatever it is you like to talk about. So if you like to talk about collecting buttons, right? You like to talk about the best buttons. Oh, you love red buttons. Oh my goodness. Red buttons just make you so happy. Red buttons and the purple ones. The purple ones, they just make you so happy. Then you need to write on your list, you want to attract someone who loves talking about buttons. Someone who can give you insight, who can bring things to the table in the conversation that you were not aware of about these red and purple buttons. Get that specific. That specific, because that's what is going to feed your spirit. Don't be afraid to add what you want on these lists. So many women are like, well, I can't write that down. I shouldn't ask for that. Or that's being selfish. Or that's just being, I'm being shallow. Let me tell you the difference between being shallow and having a preference. Being shallow is if you say, well, I don't ever want to date a man who has children, and you are past a certain age. Once you get past a certain age, it's highly probable that the man will have either been married or he has children. And so to say that when you've never actually dated someone without children, to some would be shallow, to others may be a preference. Maybe you're not a person who wants to have to share your man with, his children, or have to be bothered with the baby mama, or you don't have to want to be bothered with the ex-wife. That's your preference. That's your choice. Okay. So one person's preference can be seen as shallow by someone else. So for example, in the middle of the in the middle of the workshops, they'll start getting into it. They start getting real sensitive about when I ask them to define things or who pointed this out, who said this, and they'll get defensive. So one woman, had children. A guy said he would never date a woman who had children. She took offense to that. And I had to tell her, that's okay, honey. It's fine for him. He's just not the man for you, right? So it doesn't mean that the people who you're turning away or people who you're choosing not to be with, doesn't mean that those people are bad or that those people are not worthy of you dating them. It's just not your preference, and you are entitled to have whatever it is you want to have, but you need to know what that is. You can't say, well, okay, I don't mind a guy who has children. All right, then what am I going to ask you? How old do you want his children to be? Do you want toddlers? Do you want newborns? Are you okay with middle school? Do you want teenagers? Do you want his kids to be grown? You have to be specific. You got to be specific, because if you're not specific, you're going to miss something. And the universe is so giving. If you believe in God, you subscribe to the Bible, then you know that we are children. We are God's children, right? And God said you can have whatever you want. The universe says you can have whatever you want. Source, intimate source, or unlimited source, or universal energy, or whatever you want to call it, says you can have whatever you want. You just have to ask for it. So why would you ask for a guy who has children, or a woman who has children, and that person shows up and the children are, let's say, middle school age, and then you got an attitude? Well, you didn't tell the universe that you wanted someone, that you didn't like middle school kids, right? And that's totally okay. You didn't tell the universe you don't mind someone who has children, but their children need to be this age, that age, right? Or out of the house, or, in a different state. Whatever it is you want, do not be embarrassed. Do not feel bad. It is your life. This is your perfectly authentic relationship that you are creating. Take charge of it. Take control of it. Okay. All right. So let me see. I'm going to read those me, no kids. Does it work when you're already in a relationship? Honey, you need to join. If you're not getting what you want out of your current relationship, then you need to make sure that you join my Keeping It Sexy challenge. Okay, the link is not ready yet, but you need to be in this 5-day challenge. Keeping It Sexy 5-day challenge. You need to definitely jump in that challenge. I'll get you right, honey. We'll get you right. Okay, let's see. I'm going back up. Okay, custom order. Yep, me too, honey. I know exactly. You see, I had the whole thing. I want my steak medium or medium well. I want it charred around the edges because I like a little crunch. And I like my vegetables a certain way. I like my potatoes a certain way. When I was eating potatoes, I'm so like that. Okay, so let's get to Jerry's question. Brittany says, I understand what you're saying. This is actually making me think a lot and go deeper, actually. Absolutely. This is what you have to do. I'm coming to you, Jerry. This is what you have to do, because if you don't, you're going to end up with only a portion of what you wanted, right? Those women that take the time to go through this exercise, this is a good beginning for you. My clients in my 12-week sessions, the first 6 weeks, we spend the first 6 weeks on the internal groundwork. And you can find, if you have a copy of this book, my book, The 5 Phases of Dating, The Grown-Ass Woman's Guide to Attracting and Maintaining Authentic Relationships, in the beginning of this book is what we're talking about now. So the internal groundwork has the 3 lists. I talked to you about the 3 lists in here. And then there's a perfectly authentic relationship story, right? You have to create that story. So part 1, can you see that? Is getting in touch with your perfectly authentic self. And I misspelled perfectly on purpose because we're not perfect. We are not perfect, but we are who we are. And the people that we attract into our lives are not going to be perfect, but they are going to be perfectly imperfect for us. And see, here's the part that we're going over now. The must-haves can compromise on, and the hell no's. Yes, I did spell it Naws. Okay, so if you don't have this book, then you want to pick up a copy. We're giving away an autographed copy tonight for one of you lucky viewers that are watching us live. Safira will determine how to decide who that is. I'm just going to keep on talking. So if you don't have this book and you are not the person to win the book tonight, Safira provided the link. So there's a link for the book and there's a link for the workshop. But this book, the internal groundwork, that's part one. If you only went in 30 pages and you put your heart into it and you put your soul into it and you followed instructions by writing it out and looking at it and redoing it and getting down to, the truth of the definition, the spirit of the definition, right? We say, as Brittany said, honest. Okay, honest. What does that mean? I had eggs for breakfast. Okay, I was being honest. But that's not what she was talking about. So when we talk about, when we have these words, we want to make sure that we're clear. Now, Brittany, you would be able to identify whether or not a person could openly articulate their feelings right away in conversation. You wouldn't have to spend 4 hours on the phone. You wouldn't have to spend 4 years with this person. You could totally pick it up right away and you would know where to place that person. Everybody that is in our life is not in our lives to be in a relationship. That is a mistake that a lot of women make. They feel a connection with a guy or with another woman, and they think that this is supposed to be a relationship. No, it's not. It's a soul connection, yes, but it's not a soul mate. It is a soul, and soulmate, we'll talk about that another time. I don't really believe in soulmate, but we'll talk about that another time because I don't think that people really know how to identify what a soulmate looks like. If you are clear, if you're sitting here in this class, then you're going to be a lot closer to knowing what your soulmate looks like than someone who's not in this class. If you're my client, then you're going to be a lot clearer than that. If you get the book, you're going to be even more clearer. So as you recognize that there's some more work that needs to be done, just do the work. Do the work, and it will help you not only if you're dating, but also if you're married, Brittany, or if you're in a relationship, it can help you there as well. Okay. Okay. Jerry says, side question. Now, when I ask, here's the thing. When I ask women, well, what do you want? They run off 50 items. Well, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I sure as hell don't want that because my ex-husband did that, and I don't want this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Thank you so much. What do you want? And then they sit, well, I know I don't want. No, okay, I get that. Sit down. Here's my thing. Sit down with the things that you don't want. And it's all, for me, it's all homework. All of my clients do homework. So I have them write down a list of what they don't want. But then on the other side, I have them write down what they do want. You have to know what you want. Yes, you recognize what you don't want, and you recognize that right away. But the more you focus on the opposite of that, okay, I know that I had someone with kids and she had, 7 different baby daddies, and I know I don't want that. Okay, so now you know when you're looking for someone else that you don't want that situation. So it can definitely happen. You can, because you focus on your don't wants, you can know what you want, which is the opposite. But for men, it's a little bit different. Men, and I'm not saying that men aren't spiritual. I'm not saying that men aren't emotional. But women, because of the way that we beat ourselves up and the way that we put everybody else before us and the way that we were taught to give to others, give to others versus allowing someone to give to us, it's harder for us to go from the things you don't want to the things you want. And that's what I spend a lot of time getting my clients to get clear on, right? So it is possible. Men, a lot quicker. Women, it takes a little longer. And they have to peel back those layers because we've been hit on top of the head. We've been programmed since we were little. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to take. You just grin and bear it. You do this, you do that. You don't talk back to your husband. You don't blah, blah, blah. You don't speak up. You don't make waves. If you're working at home and he comes home, you don't bother him. There's a reason for that, but you know, it's another class. But to the point where we get so used to giving to everybody else and becoming a chameleon based on who that person is, that we really don't know what it is we want. And so that's why I make women go through this over and over and over again until we get down to the soul. We get down to the soul of the answer, right? I ask the question, but I'm going to keep asking the question and have them keep going to it and defining it until they get to the soul of the answer. That way, they can feel it when they're with somebody. I hope I answered your question, Jerry. Okay, so I think, does it work if you're already in a relationship? Yes. Sapphira said that was me, no kids. Surprise. You would not want bratty kids. Okay, well, you can put that down, Emery. No bratty kids, but then you have to define what bratty means, right? Because bratty to me, let's say, for example, my dog, and I say dog because I don't have any small kids anymore. My kids are grown with kids. But my dog, when she comes home, I have to give her a treat and I have to let her out. She can be home with my husband all day, but she will not get up for him. She will not do anything. She waits for me. That's a brat. I like it. It's my dog. Bratty, you know, that's being a brat. But when it comes to bratty kids, what does a bratty kid look like? Define that, because you're going to be able to tell it. Write it down so that it becomes very second nature to you. When you see a bratty kid, you know what it is. You know what it looks like. You know what it behaves like. Write that down. Ingrain it. Put it. Make sure that it gets you internalize it in your spirit and you put it out there in the universe by writing it on these pieces of paper. Now I'm going to give you, well, we're not there yet, but remind me if I forget to tell you what to do with these lists once you're done crafting these lists. Okay. Kimberly said, you are cracking me up. Me? I'm happy. I love him a lot, just making me think a lot right now. Okay, good. And it's, you know what, Brittany? It's working on this list and working on yourself and asking questions does not mean that there's anything wrong in your current situation, right? But getting clearer on what you need, getting clearer on what you want, and being able to articulate that to him is probably going to help you go deeper in your relationship. You guys watch Jerry and Sapphira talk about, you know, their relationship and how they have, you know, these. Sapphira has her I call them her releasing moments when she, you know, has her emotions. She feels her emotions. She shares what she's feeling with Jerry. Jerry allows her to have that safe space to do that. Okay, but she needs to know what she needs, right? If she doesn't know what she needs, then he can't give her what she needs. So by you getting clearer on what you need, that just means that your honey is able to really give you what you need because now he knows what that is. Okay. You're welcome, Brittany. Very detailed list makes sense. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So let's talk about, I thought I saw some things in here, things you can compromise on. How much time do we have? Okay, 6:40. Well, Brittany, I still didn't talk about the open to meeting new people. So new people. So you want this person to be outgoing. You want this person to be friendly. You want this individual, and even if you're talking about, you know, your current situation, maybe he's not a people person. Ah, there it is. You want someone to be a people person. There's still ways to shift the energy in your relationship. There's definite ways to shift the energy in your relationship. And what women don't understand is that you need to be very clear on the energy of men. Just like we were not taught to be clear on what we want, we were really not taught the energy of men. Some of us, you know, some of our parents or mothers or, you know, people that we grew up with or we were around influenced us, told us that, you know, as long as you feed them, and I almost cussed. Oh wait, Sapphira says this word all the time. As long as you feed him, as long as you fuck him, as long as you you know, clean his house and he'll be okay. That's all you need to do. That's not all you need to do. but we weren't told how to connect with the spirit of a man. So there's a difference. There's a reason why a man will walk away from one woman and go to another woman, even if that woman does not seem to have everything, society thinks that she should have. He's not going to her because, she can cook better. She can, well, maybe, I don't know. But there's a reason for it. It's because she knows how to connect with his spirit. He sees his reflection in her, right? This is why a man can walk away from one situation or one marriage and go, find or be with his soulmate, because this woman connects with his spirit. He sees his reflection in her. She shows him how he can be more of him, right? She supports him. She loves him. She knows how to speak his language. And in doing that, he then connects with her. In order to get your man to do and to be what you need him to do and be, if he is meant to be in your space, you can learn how to speak his language. You can learn how to connect with him. But that's a process. That takes a lot of growth on your part. I didn't say sacrifice. I said it takes a lot of growth on your part in order for you to be comfortable where you are within yourself before you can then begin to open up and pour into another. Otherwise, you're just going to be resentful. Okay? All right, let's see. I know I saw some things you can compromise on, but I can't find them now. Yeah. Okay. So I can't find the, well, here's what I want you to do before we get too far. Before we get to, oh, there we go. So weight is a compromise. Okay. Compromise making a mistake. Food. Oh, Brittany, girl, you said compromise making a mistake. Girl, let me tell you, you hit the nail on the head. So one of the things that my husband and I did a marriage workshop. It was called Getting Your Needs Met. He was with the men and I went with the women. And so the reason why we did it that way was so that the men could get all of their frustrations out to my husband, so that the women could get all their frustrations out to me. And then we came back as a group. And my husband and I moderated. So he read some things off the list that the men wanted, and then I read some things off the list that the women wanted. Well, the men knew what the women wanted because they complain about it all the time. But the women had no idea what the men wanted because they never learned how to connect to the spirit of their men. The men had more things on their list than the women did. But not one of those things on the man's list or the men's list cost one dime. Didn't cost a thing. We think that men are so tough and that they're the provider and they're supposed to, come home and take care of the house and then take care of the bills and do all of that. That's what we're taught. But when a man will say to his wife, all I need to know or all I want you to do is just make it okay for me to make a mistake. Brittany, girl. So here's an example. I was floored. I mean, I've been at this for a while, so my husband, it doesn't bother me. If he makes a mistake, he just makes a mistake. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say sometimes it doesn't frustrate the hell out of me. It does, but I don't fuss about it, right? I will fuss about it with my girlfriends, but by the time I've worked that out, I come back, it's fine. Really, it's nothing serious. If it was something serious, I would have, made a different comment. But let's say if you go to, and I tell this to women who are in the middle, whose man decided to, whether you're married or not, if your guy decided to take you out, he told you to get dressed, he's going to take you somewhere nice on Friday, then this is what happens. Okay, this is what typically happens. The guy, we don't realize how much stress this puts on them. They would much rather we tell them where to take them because it makes it easier. But the guy has to figure out what to wear. He has to figure out where to take you. He doesn't want you to be disappointed. So are you going to like the food? Are you going to like the restaurant? Are you going to like the atmosphere? It's been a long time since he's taken you out. Will you like this place? Have you been to this place before? So he's stressing about it. How much is it going to cost? And does he have the money for that? And is this going to be, are you going to feel like he actually did something nice? Or do you think he's going to be cheap? All of these things are going through his mind. So he picks you up, and you usually like flowers when, you like for him to give you flowers before he takes you out. But he was so stressed, and he was trying to get stuff done at work. He was trying to get stuff done, he was trying to get home, get ready, he had to go buy the cleaners, pick up his suit, whatever it is, and he forgot the flowers. And you have an attitude. Now the whole evening is ruined because you're angry about the flowers. Now let's say you didn't get angry about the flowers and you let that go, okay? And you drive to the restaurant, and you park the car. It's a big lot, right? You park the car, and you go in and you have a very nice dinner. You have a couple of glasses of wine or a cocktail, or maybe if you drink, and if not, then you had some nice tea or water or whatever it is you have, and you just had great conversation. The conversation was good. You wore these shoes that you haven't worn in a while, and your feet are killing you. You cannot wait to get to the car to take your shoes off. And you get outside, and now it's raining. You were not prepared for the rain, but that's okay. You're going to make a quick dash to the car to get in the car, and you'll laugh about it. Ha ha ha. We're in the rain. If you're a black girl, you always carry an umbrella. Okay, I always check the weather, and I always carry an umbrella because I can't get this hair wet. It's all curly now, but you have no idea how long it took me to get my hair like this. So rain is not my friend. But anyway, I digress. You're ready to get out there, and you want to just dart for the car, right? Because there's no umbrella in the car for him to go to get the umbrella and then bring it back. So you want to run to the car. But then you run and you run, and you got your eyes closed, you're holding his hand, and then he stops and you bump into him. Guess what? He forgot where he parked the car. What do? What would you normally do? Be honest. He forgot where he parked the car. What happens? Hey, Jacqueline. What happens, guys? What do you do when your feet are hurting, you're full? What happens when your feet are hurting and you're full and you want, okay, we got 12 minutes left. You want to get in the car, you're full, your feet hurting. What do? Oh, you don't? Okay, that's okay. You don't have to admit it. I know what you do. You get mad. You get mad and you complain and you complain and you complain. It's like, oh my God, it was just a parking space. You had such a wonderful time. You had all this, you had great conversation. You guys caught up a lot, and he expressed how he feels, and he apologized for not being more caring and nurturing. And then you get outside, and then you let him have it. You slam him because he forgot where he parked the car. You just ruined it for him. How do you think this man is going to feel? Brittany said, where did you park the car? See, okay. This is how a grown woman would do it. Now I'm going to tell you, just like in the back of this book, I give you dating scenarios. And if you go to the back of the book, starting on page 139, there are charts here. And I give you different scenarios. This column tells you what the scenario is. The second column is how a grown woman would handle it. The third column is how a grown-ass woman would handle it. So Brittany says, she would say, where did you park the car? A grown-ass woman wouldn't say, where did you park the car? A grown-ass woman would say, okay, the first person to find this car has to, I don't know, I'm just going to say wash the dishes for a week, or has to do that thing that you don't like to do but only on my birthday kind of stuff. Put that out there. Make it a game. A grown-ass woman would make it a game. So this grown-ass woman would make it a game. This grown-ass woman, let me tell you what, 2 days is Valentine's Day, right? My husband is in Canada for the week for work, so he will not be here for Valentine's Day. Did I get mad? Oh, no. No. I didn't get mad. What did I say? This grown-ass woman right here, this one right here, I said, Oh, really? Oh, okay, no problem. While you're in Canada, I will be shopping here with your credit card. Enjoy, honey. Have a great time. Have a great time. Better yet, how about this? While you're in Canada, because he was trying to get me to come up for the weekend, but it is like 4 below. I'm not leaving here to go there. I've already dealt with that. So um, I said, well, I'm not going, I'm not coming up there, but you can buy my trip to platform. You can buy you can buy my plane ticket to platform. You see how that worked out? Sophia, you know what I'm talking about with platform. So instead of me getting mad, instead of me having a fit, instead of me going through all of that, what did I do? What did I do? I got a plane ticket. I got a round trip ticket out of it. You can call it manipulation. You can call it whatever you want. But I didn't make him feel bad. I laughed it off. I had a good time with it. He had a good time with it. And I was, just throwing it out there. I was just playing. He was like, no, I'm going to get you a ticket. I'll buy you a ticket to Miami. I was like, oh, wow, look at that. That's how a grown-ass woman does it. The grown-ass woman in the parking lot would allow her man to make a mistake. The grown-ass woman at home. I'll give you another example. Okay. Oop, 8 minutes. All right. Well, I gave you those examples. So, but you get it. I don't want to keep you guys over. And I do want to tell you, so my ass isn't grown up yet. Anne Marie said, so my ass isn't grown up yet. It takes a minute, honey. It takes a minute. But that's okay. That's quite all right, because we have been conditioned to respond a certain way. We have definitely been conditioned to respond a certain way. When we learn how to get clear on what it is we want, when we know the personality or the spirit of the person that is perfectly imperfect for us, we attract better. We attract better to us. We vibrate at a higher vibration. Even when we're in our relationships and in our marriages, when we learn what we want, when we learn what we like, and when we learn how to, as Anne Marie said, grow up in our emotions and in our relationship evolution with another person, then we continue to attract more of what we want versus what we don't want. I don't care if your household is full of arguing and, you can't stand each other. I've had at least 3 couples on the brink of divorce come back together. One of them got pregnant, had no intentions of getting pregnant, already had children that were in high school, and now she's a mom again because she turned that energy around. You can do that as well. So here's what I want you to do. We're running out of time. So here's what I want you to do. Thank you guys so much for being interactive. Thank you so much for being interactive. I really appreciate this, and I'm so excited to have had this time with you. But what I want you to do is those 3 lists. Okay, when you get those 3 lists done, when you have reworked those lists to the point where you feel like you are really coming from your spirit with your definitions, I want you to there's one. I want you to take those sheets of paper, okay, and I want you to turn them upside down. If the last page has writing on it, I want you to put another piece of paper on top, a white piece of paper, and then I want you to grab one of these. Hang on a second. I want you to grab one of these candles. You can get these at Walmart. You can get these at the dollar store. You can get these just about anywhere. I keep a bunch of them, at least a dozen of them at a time. So I get these from the dollar store. I want you to take this candle, and I want you to wash the outside of it, because you don't know. Pookie Nim, Ray Nim, Mookie Nim could have been touching this glass, and you don't want that. You don't want that energy. You want to cleanse it. So take you some Himalayan salt and some water, and I want you to wash the outside of the candle jar, and then I want you to dry it off. Okay. This stem is really long. Can you see that? You don't want the stem to be that long because you don't want it doing this thing outside of the jar. So you want to snip that wick in half, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to, whatever it is you do, but I want you to set the intention to what you put on this paper you're now going to attract into your life. So you're setting the intention. If you want to read, you want to flip it over and you want to read and speak it into the candle, you can. And then flip it over, put the candle on top, and then light it. These candles, they used to burn like 7 days. Now they only burn about 3 days. But I would leave that jar on top of the paper and let it burn completely. When you let it burn completely, once it's completely done, then you would take this, put it in like a jewel bag or a plastic bag, tie it up, walk it to the trash yourself. The reason why you let it burn is because every time you see this, energy flows where attention goes. Every time you see this candle, your attention is going to go to what you wrote on the paper. You're going to energetically be sending or placing that order with the universe so that the universe knows, oh, okay, that's what she wants. Oh, okay, that's what she wants. That's what she wants to bring into her environment. When there's a gap between what you have now and what you told the universe you want to have. The more energy you give to what you want, the more you close the gap, okay? Whether you are dating or whether you are married. The more energy flows where attention goes. If you're putting your attention on what you want, you're going to get more of what you want. If you're putting your attention on what you don't want, guess what? You're going to get more of what you don't want. All right? So you guys have any questions for me? It's like 3 minutes left. The grocery store, yep. The grocery store, yes. The dollar store, the grocery store, the corner store, the liquor store, wherever you want to go. Go to the store. The liquor store, if they have them, then you buy it there. You're going to clean it anyway, so it doesn't matter who's touched it. Oh, okay. I can talk, right? I didn't realize it was an hour. So do you guys have any questions for me? Is there anything I can? Yes, energy flows where intention goes. Yes, intention, attention, what energy flows. So whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to bring about. Whatever you think about, you bring about. Think about what you want so that you can bring that into your place. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you found the lessons useful. I hope you were able to see the difference between what you say you want versus what you really want, and that you are able to define and get very, very clear so that you can attract either a new person, or you can attract those things that you want. You can get your needs met with the person that you have. All right. Thank you so much, Safira. Bye, Jerry. You guys, let me know if you need anything. Of course, remember, you are welcome. You are so welcome, love. What do you do with the candle when you're done? You take the candle and you put it in a plastic bag. And this is, I'm going to tell you why I do this. So I take the jar itself, I put it in a plastic bag, and I walk it to the garbage can. That's because I don't want anybody else in my house touching my jar. I don't want anybody outside touching my jar. The only energy I want to last on this jar until it gets wherever it's going is mine. And so I'm the one who wraps it in the plastic, who takes it out to the garbage and places it in the garbage. Okay? You are so welcome, Kimberly. Oh, thank you, Brittany. Thank you. All right, guys. So I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to, I think I'm coming down with something. I have my admin over here Saturday, and she had a cold, and guess what? Oh, so I'm going to go take me some medicine so I can not attract this into my life, because I'm not claiming it. I'm not claiming anybody's germs, hers or no one else's. All right. So I love you guys so much. I hope to see you soon. And I am going to share in the group the Keeping It Sexy Challenge. It's free. It's 100% free. You don't have to pay anything. So we're going to get you, we're going to help you bring your sexy back. And if you like tonight's class, there's a lot more homework involved in the challenge. So do your homework. Do your homework, ladies. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.